Hi, I'm Beatle Dustino and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be the second addition to the trilogy I said have coming up of these compilation mini LP CD Beatles box sets. Of course, I talked in the last video in the intro on my love of the Beatles in Mono, Beatles U.S. albums, which we also did show the box there, and the Beatles Japan Box. I went through that there's some compilation and other albums out there that I think would be cool to see released in a nice little box set like this, kind of theme them up. So of course the first one I proposed as the kind of UK and US compilations that came out in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that have not been reissued on CD or on vinyl even reissued. And of course, before we get started with this next video, to my tens of subscribers, let's make that into hundreds. So please like and subscribe and comment on the video. But let's get on to the next what if. So of course, this one I'm going to talk about the international compilations that came out. There was a bunch of these stemming back to the early days of the Beatles, but 1964 is when most of these came out, or some of these original ones came out, I should say. And there was a few stragglers throughout the 70s and even into the 80s. They all had very unique artwork, which I think is part of the reason why I'd like to see this release. They all had different labels, different track lists, I'm sure even different mixes. These mixes might be a little more questionable. I don't know a lot on these albums, so I don't know what the mixes quite sound like. But, you know, as long as it's not too bad, if it's kind of a unique, cool mix, let's get that different version. Well, let's get into the list. And this is a truly international set. We're going to have stuff from Europe, from South American markets. I do know one of the first ones I'm going to talk about is one that Matthew Street did mention in that video that I commented on, that he helped promote my channel from on that comment. But it would be the Beatles Beat, released April 15th of 1964 in Germany on the Odeon label. So that'll be kind of the first one in the set here. Next one I got listed would be another German issue, The Beatles Greatest. This one came out June 18th of 1965, also on Odeon. The next one would be the last album that Matthew Street mentioned in that video, which is The Beatles in Italy. Of course, released July 13th of 1965, kind of to commemorate the Beatles coming to Italy. The album cover makes it look like they're in concert. Of course, the photo is, I believe, from when they played in Washington, D.C. in 1964 on their first U.S. trip. And obviously, the music is not a live album. It's just a compilation album, but again, would be cool to get that little different track list, so the album art and everything on mini LP form. Now, the next one is the first one that's in a foreign language title. I translated out the title to English. I'm going to just go with the English. You can read it from the photo up there. On this particular situation, if you know French, you try to figure out the pronunciation. I'm not going to try it. I even listened to the little translator on my phone, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to give that a try. But anyways, this next one will be in their 14 greatest hits, released in France on Odeon also on September 1st of 1965. So of course that'll be the next one. I'm not going to go too deep into any of these. I'm kind of moving through it here because, like I said, I don't know a lot about these albums. I'm aware of their existence, but past that, I guess I don't know a lot. I don't own any of these on LP. One day I'll probably find a copy and pick it up, but I'd like to pick up them in the mini LP box set first. And then maybe if they release a vinyl box set too, a little later. Next one would be from Argentina, and this one is Los Beatles, or The Beatles, released in November 19th of 1965. So that'll be the next one there. Next, we're going down under to Australia for a few releases here. We got The Greatest Hits Volume 1, released on June 7th of 1966, and then The Greatest Hits Volume 2, released on February 16th of 1967. Of course, the Volume 1, the artwork is very similar to the Beatles 6, where that's one of the only ones that I found the artwork was very similar to either a UK or US album. So that's one of the few on that, but it would still be cool to see that one in this set. Next one, Spanish one, I'm not going to try the translation or the pronunciation again on the Spanish, but basically it either roughly breaks down to Forever Beatles or Beatles Forever. And this one was released on October 8th, 1971 on Odeon in Spain. And going down under again, we got The Essential Beatles, released February 2nd of 1972 in Australia and New Zealand again. Kind of a unique cover there. Going back to Germany on this next one, and this one might be a budget release, but it's a 20 Golden Greats. Kind of a unique cover there, looking like a coin or something. Couldn't get an exact release date, but it was released in 1979 in Germany on Odeon Trent label. Next one, once again, we're taking a trip back down to Australia, and we got the number ones, or 23 number ones. This one is similar, obviously, to the Beatles 1, and very similar to the 20 greatest hits that came out in the US and the UK. So it's their 20 greatest, and then what they had done was tacked on another 3 tracks with a EP that came with it. The EP had Love Me Do, I Feel Fine, and Rock and Roll Music on it. So of course with this one I say just put the 20 tracks on there and add on those 3 from the EP as a bonus. A few more I did find after I'd kind of done my initial little search here. I did find the Beatles Again, released in 1964 in Brazil. Another kind of unique little album art in that, and that one was also on the Odeon label. The next one in these last few, going back to April of 1965 on this one with the Beatles' Hottest Hits, released in Denmark, and them trying to keep nice and warm there in their parkas there. This one I will try to do the pronunciation because I think this one I could almost do, but it's Los Beatles para ti, or For You, the Beatles For You. Released in 1964 on Odeon in Uruguay. And that one I understand is a very, very hard album to find. So that would be kind of a cool little bonus to have that in that set. Reissued for the first time on CD. And like I said, possibly down the road, let's get a vinyl reissue. Of course, I said on these I was going to go through each of the 3 box sets, the Beatles in Mono, the US albums, and the Japan box. So let's see the Japan box this time. I forgot to do this in the beginning, so we'll just add it in here to the end. But anyways, this came in a nice little sealable plastic sleeve. I've already got it off here. It is impossible to get this back in, so I'm doing you guys a favor getting this out. But it's got its own little obi or backing strip there. And then, of course, the box is very similar to the others. It's got the Meet the Beatles, pretty much like their album of the same title on the front there. On the side, again, Meet the Beatles. And the apple, of course, here. And then it's just blank on the top and the bottom. Well, the bottom's got the legal notes and that. Opens up just like the others. Nice little case here to hold them all up right there in order. Again, a nice, beautiful little book that came with it. Not much to read in this, though, unless you know Japanese. This set, of course, featured the Japanese version of Meet the Beatles, the Japanese version of the Beatles' second album, the Japanese version of A Hard Day's Night with that unique album art, the Japanese Beatles number 5, and this one's got a fairly unique back, so I'll show you that too. And the Japanese version of Help. And of course there's the back on that one too, kind of a unique back. All of them on the Odeon label. And then kind of a cool little bonus in there. I'm not going to pull these out, but they did feature the obi strips in their own little sealed bag here. But anyways, totally forgot to add that in the beginning. We'll get it there. Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. I do got yet another one planned here in this trilogy of compilations. Again, if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and please comment. Let's talk about it. Tell me if you think this would be a cool set. But anyways, I'm Beatles Destino, signing out.